Hey guys, it's Courtney here. If you're in Algebra 1 and multi-step problems kind of seem confusing, watch this video because I'm going to make it a lot simpler for you. I'm going to walk you through it step by step and show you 3 common mistakes that a lot of students make, so be sure to watch all the way till the end. And trust me, you want to know because you don't want to lose points on your next test. So let's get into it. We're going to go ahead and start off with a 2-step equation today. And that equation is 3x plus 5 equals 20. So in this problem, our ultimate goal is to find out what x equals. That is a variable, it's an unknown value. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get x by itself. Now in order to do that, we need to get x on one side and all the other numbers on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and start off with our 5 here. This is called a constant. And what we're going to do is we're going to move it from the left side to the right side. So because we have a plus 5, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So now I have 3x equals 5 minus 5, that cancels out to 0, and then we have 20 minus 5 equals 15. Now I still want to get x by itself, so now I have to do something with the 3. Now this operation right here is multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide by 3 to get rid of the 3 on the left side and move it to the right side. So we're going to go ahead and divide by 3 on both sides, and we do this to both sides so that it keeps the equation balanced. So now we're left with x on the left side equals 15 divided by 3 equals 5 on the right side. Now here we see that x equals 5, and that is our value. Now let's go ahead and check this to see if we're right. So what we're going to do in order to check it is we're going to plug in our x value to our equation. So we have 3x, now we know our x equals 5, plus 5 equals 20. And then here we can just go ahead and solve. So this is the distributive property. We're going to multiply 3 times 5 equals 15, plus 5 equals 20. Notice how I rewrite my equation each time. Now I have 15 plus 5 equals 20. And then this shows 20 equals 20. And that shows a balanced equation. So therefore we know that x equals 5 is correct. In this problem, we're going to go ahead and solve for x, but this one's a little different because we see that we have an x value on both sides of our equation. But it's okay. I'm going to show you exactly what to do step by step. So what we want to do is move our variable to one side and everything else to the other side. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and have my variable x on my left-hand side of my equation. So I see that I have a positive 2x on my right side, so I'm going to go ahead and move it by subtracting 2x from both sides. So this cancels out to 0, so it's not there anymore. So I'm now left with 5x minus 2x equals 3x minus 7 equals 8. Now, I see that I have combined my x on my left-hand side, but now what I want to do is I want to move this minus 7 to my right-hand side. So in order to move it, I have to do a plus 7 to both sides. This cancels out to 0, so I'm left with 3x equals 15. Now I still need to get x by itself, so I see that I have this coefficient of 3. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of that, and because 3x, that shows multiplication, I'm actually going to do division in order to move our 3. So we're going to go ahead and divide each side by 3. That cancels out, so that's really just 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we have 1x. You can put the 1 in front if you want, or you can just leave it as x equals 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So therefore, we know that our x value equals 5. But let's go ahead and check that. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug our x value into our original equation. So we have 5x, and we know that x equals 5 now. This shows that I'm going to be multiplying. Minus 7 equals 2x, so again the x is 5, plus 8. So now let's go ahead and solve this. So we're going to distribute this, and this shows that it's going to be multiplication. So 5 times 5 equals 25, minus 7 equals 2 times 5 equals 10, plus 8. Now notice how I'm keeping everything organized and rewriting it right underneath. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to simplify each side. So 25 minus 7 equals 18. And 10 plus 8 equals 18. So this statement, 18 equals 18, that's a true statement. So because of that, we now know that x really does equal 5. In this problem, we're going to go ahead and solve for x. X is a variable that we don't know the value of. Now in this problem, we're going to be using the distributive property. So distributive property, it sounds like to distribute, to give out. So thinking about that, what we're going to do is we're going to take this 2 and we're going to multiply it by each term in our parentheses. So this turns out to be 2 times x becomes 2x plus 2 times 4 equals 8, and then we have equals 3x minus 6. Now that we've distributed, we can now go ahead and move our variable x to one side of the equation. Now when we do this, this is also something called combining like terms, so terms that are the same. So for this example, 2x and 3x are like terms. They both have x in their term. So in order to move a positive 2x, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides of my equation. And I do this to both sides to keep it balanced so that I can actually move it and I don't lose it anywhere. Now 2x minus 2x equals 0. So we're left with 8 equals 3x minus 2x is 1x. So I can put 1x or I can just put x because we see that there's only one of them. And then minus 6. Now, I still need to get x by itself to figure out what that equals. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my constant, 6 minus 6, to my left-hand side of my equation. So to do that, I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So this becomes negative 6 plus 6, cancels out, it equals 0. So we're left with x equals, and then 8 plus 6 is 14. So therefore, we know that x equals 14. Now let's go ahead and check this to make sure that we're correct. So in order to check it, we're going to go back to our original equation that we started with here, and we're going to plug in our new x value, which equals 14, to wherever we see x in the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and write it over here. So we have 2 parentheses, x, now we know that's 14, plus 4, equals 3x, and the x is 14, minus 6. Now I'm going to go ahead and just solve. So remembering the distributive property, I'm going to have 2 times 14, which equals 28, plus 2 times 4, which equals 8, equals 3 times 14, which equals 42, minus 6. Now I can simplify more. 28 plus 8 equals 36, equals 42 minus 6 equals 36. So 36 equals 36 is a true expression. That means the left side is equal to the right side. Therefore, we know that our variable x really does equal 14. Now I do want to point out to you 3 most common mistakes students make when solving problems like this. So the first mistake is that students typically miss distributing this term to both terms inside the parentheses. So a lot of times you'll get students that will distribute and say 2 times x equals 2x plus 4, and then they'll continue with their problem. But that's not correct. What we want to do is we want to say 2 times x is 2x, and then 2 times 4 is 8. So we need to make sure that we distribute the 2 to each term inside the parentheses. So that's our first mistake. Our second mistake is that sometimes students move terms without changing signs. Right here we have a minus 6. If you want to move this minus 6 to the left-hand side of the equation, that is okay. But what you need to do is you need to change the sign and add 6 to both sides of the equation. So changing this sign when you move your term from one side to the other, sometimes students miss switching the signs. And then the last common mistake is that students typically forget to check their answers. So once you know what your x value equals, then you want to take that number and you want to plug it back into your original equation and see if your left side and right side of the equation equal each other, meaning that they're balanced and that your x term is correct. I'll be posting more Algebra 1 tutorials every week, so be sure to follow along and ask any questions that you have in the comments below.